For months now, the US government has been doing everything it could to convince people to get vaccinated. They made the vaccine free, but that didn't work. So then they started trying to pay people to get it, but that didn't get everyone either. So then they threatened to put Mike Richards back as Jeopardy host. But that still didn't get the job done. Because you see, as of today, only 63% of people 12 and older are fully vaccinated. And it seems like President Biden is done waiting.
Clearly frustrated by the pace of COVID-19 vaccinations in this country, President Biden tonight is trading out the velvet glove for a hammer, unveiling a broad and largely new COVID strategy heavily grounded in vaccine mandates, meant to compel millions of American workers to be vaccinated.
President Biden announced sweeping coronavirus vaccine mandates Thursday, requiring all federal workers and government contractors to be fully vaccinated. He's also ordering all businesses with more than 100 employees to require shots or weekly testing for their workers. Companies that fail to comply could face fines of $14,000 per violation.
My message to unvaccinated Americans is this: what more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us.
Damn, this guy's not playing games. Getting a vaccine, it's a mandate. You say what you want about Biden, he's not messing around, man. This is actually what America needs, you know? America should say the new law is every president has to be at least 90 years old and knocking on death's door. Yeah, just making policies like they're crossing shit off their bucket list. I don't care about re-election. I'm doing what I said. And if you ask me, it's actually smart of Biden to do this mandate through people's employers. That's smart. Yeah, it's not the government coming for you, it's your employer. Because Americans are already used to their employer having a ton of power over their lives. I mean, think about it. Your employer can tell you what to wear, what time you've got to be there, when you can leave. I mean, they can even put up a sign on the bathroom door that says, "Do not use." And then you just got to not poop. That's power. But still, a lot of people are wondering if Biden is even allowed to do this. And according to the Biden administration, the answer is yes.
The White House believes it's on solid legal footing, insisting the federal government has the power to protect workers from grave danger under the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970.
We have never used OSHA. We have never used the power of the federal government to mandate vaccines for this many people before. That doesn't mean that it's legally weak. It just means we've never seen OSHA, for instance, that was established 50 years ago, impose vaccine mandates to this extent. And it's new, but that doesn't mean it's illegal.
That's right. Biden is issuing this mandate thanks to a law from 1970 that has never been used for something like this before. And a lot of experts agree with him on this, but I just love how there's so many laws out there that you can find one for basically anything you want to do, you know? I feel like America's laws are like a mom's handbag. Whatever you could possibly need, it's somehow in there. You know, you can have sex on the beds at a mattress store, and if anyone objects, you can just be like, clearly you've never heard of the Taft-Hartley Act? But while many health experts are happy to see Biden doing whatever he can to force people to get vaccinated, many Republicans think Biden basically just took a dump on the Constitution. And according to them, they're not going to stand there and smell it.
The Republican National Committee is threatening to sue the administration, with at least 19 GOP governors vowing to defy the rules.
What the Biden administration is doing is government overreach, pure and simple.
This president is saying to them, look, you can either get vaccinated or I, as one individual, is going to threaten your ability to feed your family. And that's just wrong.
You should not lose your job just because Joe Biden is having this hissy fit.
The governor of South Carolina saying he will fight them to the gates of hell.
Wow. Fight them to the gates of hell. I mean, normally that statement is hyperbole, but with COVID, you might actually get the chance. Yeah, COVID doesn't mess around. So, these Republican governors say that they're going to sue because of the mandate. And who knows, they might even win. Because you've seen the Supreme Court now. You know, Republicans run that shit. These days, Republicans saying, I'll take you to court basically is the same as them saying, let's see what my dad has to say about this. Huh? What do you say, Dad Gorsuch? What do you say? And what's interesting to me about the mandate is that part of the reason Biden wants it is to help the economy. You know, he wants people to get vaccinated so that they can go back and work. So you'd think the Republicans would agree with this. I mean, they're the ones saying, people have to go back to work, so we gotta get rid of the unemployment benefits. And then Biden says, yeah, and also, they have to get the vaccines. What? No, 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 no. No, we only want to do it in a way that screws poor people. Now look, if these Republican governors had their way, instead of the mandate, the government would just keep trying to educate and convince people to take the vaccine on their own. What makes that difficult, and what everyone has to acknowledge, is that there's one reason to get a vaccine. There's only one reason to get the vaccine, and that's to not get COVID and go to hospital. But people who don't want the vaccine, they have like 5,000 reasons that they don't want to take it, you know? Some people say there's not enough research on it yet. Some people are hesitant because they're worried about the side effects. Some people are hesitant because they think they're healthy enough to handle it on their own. Some people think there's a microchip in it where people can track you. Wait, the vaccine is tracking you? The vaccine is tracking us. You mean like the iPhone that's always in your pocket? Yeah, just like the iPhone. Crazy. I know, crazy, right? Wait, what? So you see, that's why a mandate might be the only way to get the vaccination numbers up. But that doesn't mean that people are going to go along easily. Any mandate, no matter how much it seems like common sense to some people, is going to make other people really mad. And it's not just the vaccine. This has happened before. You realize that, right? There was a time in America when a lot of people refused to wear seatbelts. And when the government finally stepped in and said, you have to wear a seatbelt, boy, did they get pissed off.
It is a new seatbelt ordinance. If the town council gets its way, seatbelts will be mandatory for everybody riding in the front seat of a car through Richland.
I'll have to detour the town to get to Kalamazoo. If they pass a seatbelt ordinance where I don't use a seatbelt.
I wouldn't wear my seatbelt. If I get caught, I get caught, I guess.
Florida Highway Patrol Lieutenant Chris Miller hears it all when it comes to seatbelts.
I hear it's uncomfortable. It wrinkles my clothes. It's not cool.
There's no freedom no more. You don't want to wear it? That's your choice.
Sound familiar? Yeah? All the complaints about seatbelts back then are the same things you hear now about vaccines. I mean, except for the wrinkling clothes. That's a very rare side effect of the vaccines. So look, the backlash to these vaccine mandates are really nothing unique. Mandates, by their nature, build resistance. And if Biden is going to be doing that, I hope he is ready for what's going to happen, right? Because mandates turn I don't knows into f*** yous. So even if you think mandates are necessary, all I'm saying is buckle up.